Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Universal Dialect Show. I'm your host, Chris Cipher 73 Cabrera. This is show number 26. I have an awesome guest on today. He's a business owner. He's the owner of Ace of Spades Barbershop, located in East Orlando, East Colonial Drive. He's a barber. He's an adventurer, and what I call him is a realist. He's the owner of the YouTube channel, A Couple of Trips 7153. Y'all should check it out. Want to introduce my dude, Chuck Chillin. What up, my man?
What's going on? What's going on?
Chillin, brother. What did you get in today? Everything good?
Yeah, everything good. Just had, early morning workout, run, ran some errands, and now I'm here doing the show.
I got you, my
Don't
man.
take
I
no
got you.
breaks, man. No breaks.
Can't, man, honestly. But yeah, man, I got this barber who's real dope, man. He did me real nice, man. Maybe one day I'll come check you out and, compare and contrast, see who's better, man.
Appreciate it.
How long have I been going to you? Do you remember? Like,
Man, it's been at least a good, man, I don't know. It's probably pre-pandemic, right?
for sure
At least.
pre-pandemic, yes.
Yeah, so probably like I want to
6 years?
say, yeah, about 2016, 17 around there.
Right.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
been a
yeah.
great
So
journey, man. Great
it
conversations in the
has
chair.
been a great journey. So but before we get into like you being a business owner and everything, let's get into like your origin story, Chuck's origin story, like where you were born, raised. You know what I mean? Go into a little bit, if you could, into your upbringing, what it was like.
Right. Yeah. So you see the New York hat on.
Word up.
Born and raised in Brooklyn. Raised in Coney Island. Born in '78. All the way. Well, I left New York in '95. So I left when right before my 17th birthday. But it was good. I mean, it's like any other neighborhood, especially growing up in the '80s and '90s. Man, that was the best time. A lot of these kids ain't gonna get the experience what we experienced when we were younger.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, just growing up in the projects, man, it was good. Parents, I was fortunate to have both of them at the time. They raised me right. Um, oh man, it was good. A lot of outside. These kids today don't go outside. Everybody got a tablet and a phone, but we was outside playing tag, riding bikes, skateboards, roller skates. I mean, we had a great time, man. All other stuff that comes with growing up in the hood, the fighting, the
Right.
drugs, and the hookers, and everything was in that area. But all our parents, everybody that was in the projects, all the parents at that time helped raise all of us. So it was a good time.
So it was like essentially like they say, takes
A
a
village to
village
raise
to
a
raise a
child.
child, right?
Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely.
Yeah. And plus back then too, like you were saying, like kids used to go out, and even though we saw some ill shit, we
Right.
still like we learned about life. We had more experience with life than kids nowadays, that stay home all the time.
Yeah, 100%. These kids don't know what it's like to be outside no more. Because
Right.
back then, when we were little, if you were in the house, it was a punishment.
Right.
Now to go outside is a punishment for these kids now. So, I
Right.
mean, we had all the benefits back then. A lot of us, some of us had more than others, but we were still in the same struggle, coming from that era, coming from those projects and stuff like that. And I still till to this day, I still know people that's still in that area, still in the projects and stuff like
Right.
that. But it's all good. Everybody good, everybody living. So.
So are any of your kids in New York now?
No.
Okay. And so like what was it like raising them in this new age?
Well,
When you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. Well, it was a different approach for me, man, because I try to do what I was taught when I was younger. With the discipline. You had to get a spanking or whatever the case was. It was done. Now you got the kids running the household, the parents scared of the kids, and I wasn't trying to hear none of that. And I still, even till this day, I overhear certain conversations with other people, and I always hear this coming from men like, oh, I don't want to hit my kids. I don't want to beat my kids, because my parents did this to me, blah, blah, blah. But the way these kids are turning out nowadays is like they need that ass whipping. You know what I'm saying? Because most of us, we had a little ass whipping here and there, and some more
Right.
than others. And it just gave us the discipline and the respect or gave us the respect to respect, elders. You know what I'm saying? Now you see videos all day on YouTube and all social medias, and these kids disrespecting teachers, disrespecting elderly, they swinging on a parent. Like, it's crazy. So for me, when I was raising mine, if they got out of line, I corrected them. It wasn't no wait to this or timeout. I didn't play that. I took my chance, and I always told them, if because some of these kids, they have the mindset of, if you hit me, I'm gonna call the police and all that other stuff. So the thing is, I'm like, you call the police, you're gonna get raised by the state, and you don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because you hear horror stories of kids being molested, raped, and all this other
Right.
stuff. So it's like, you either gonna follow my rules, or you're gonna have to, go through that. And everything worked out pretty good.
So I came from the school system. I was working for the school system, and you're 100% correct. Like now, teachers are more afraid of the students, whereas when I was growing up in New York, teachers will whoop your ass if they had to. Like,
Right.
and parents wouldn't even probably say shit, really. Um, and kids just don't listen now anymore. They kind of like live their own lives, and then they use their parents for like food and money and all that stuff. So it's almost like roommates in a way, right? Like this weird
Right. And
relationship.
yeah, because a lot of what I noticed, just with friends and clients and everything else, a lot of these parents are trying to be their friend versus trying to be their parents. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to find that balance. And it's always they trying to please them and give them everything they want and this and that. And then, when it comes time for discipline, this kid now is like in his teenage years, and, there's no respect, there's no nothing there. So it's a little tougher. So whenever I talk to one of my friends or my clients or whatever, I try to give them my insight, on how I did stuff and how I was brought up. But a lot of them still, they're like, no, I can't do that. I can't hit my kid. I can't. And a lot of people get it misconstrued. When you discipline your kid, or you hit them with the belt or a spoon or whatever we got hit with when we was younger, you know what I'm saying? Like,
The switch.
it's totally different. Like, it's not a form of child abuse. Now, if you coming home every day and you knocking your kid around, or you knocking your spouse around, that's abuse. You burning them with the iron, or whatever. That's abuse. But if your kid get out of line and he curses at you or whatever the case is, and you correct them, then that's what's needed. And a lot of parents ain't doing that. So I always tell us the people, man, especially the younger generation, when they try to talk to me and stuff, our era was the best era because we had a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? So now these kids, it's just crazy, man.
All right. So like you were saying about, you know, how the kids are acting now, right?
Right.
So where do you think this all started? Because I know like and particularly not just the kids too, because these kids, you didn't ask to be born, I didn't ask to be born. We were born into
Right.
this planet by adults, and then they had their job to raise us correctly. So do you think like when the computer started getting in everybody's house, that you think that sparked parents being more lazy? You know what I'm saying? Like where do you think this
Uh,
all started?
I think it started with, and some people might agree or disagree, but I think it started with,
Who cares about them?
for real. It all started with local government, and going all the way up to like the Senate and all that other stuff when they started taking away PE. Because remember, back in our day, summer camps used to be free. You know what I'm saying? At least in my hood, we had PAL and all that other stuff. Like, summer camps were free. We would go on trips and everything. All we had to do was, provide lunch or whatever. Our parents had to provide that for us. But I think it started there when they start letting us, if you hit your kid, it's abuse. You know what I'm saying? If you do this, it's abuse. Put your kids in timeout. And now everybody's a winner. You participate in little league, whether it's soccer, baseball, or whatever, everybody's a winner. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to see these kids crying, because when I played little league and we lost, some kids cried, some didn't. We just like, yo, we got to go back and practice or whatever. It was times where, we used to be out in the rain throwing the ball, playing, stick ball or whatever the case was, just to get better for the next season. Now these kids, they all getting trophies for doing nothing. So I think it started then. And if we go back, it pretty much started like in the early to mid 90s. That's when they started doing all this stuff. So
Like the participation trophies, that
yeah, the
sort of shit.
participation
Sort of shit.
trophies, you can't hit your kid, you can't do this, you can't discipline them. They came out with this whole timeout program. Then they took away PE from schools, and that's why you got a lot of these kids now, like, they obese and stuff like that. And they think because okay, they're gonna change the lunch in some counties, depending on where you live at, your demographic, they think, oh, we're gonna feed them peas and carrots like that's supposed to do something. Like these
Right.
kids need activities, you know what I'm saying? And we had that when we was coming up. That's why, I say that was the best time. We had the best music, we had the best toys, like we had everything.
Yeah, we did
Now
have
these
everything.
kids just got a phone and a tablet. They don't know how to interact with each other or nothing.
Well, they interact using that tablet, but it's not the same as being in person.
Exactly. So
They don't.
I think it started back then, and a lot of parents that don't know, and a lot of them don't know no better. You know what I'm saying? They just believe whatever's being told to them. But it's tough because a lot of them are missing out. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them brainwashed. They're like, oh, well, they said do this, or they said I can't do that. But it's your child. You should be able to raise your child and discipline and do whatever it is you want with them. You know what I'm saying? To an extent. Now, like I
Right.
said, if you're doing something harsh to them, hitting them with a closed fist, then that's something different. But if your kid get out of line, you discipline. There's nothing wrong with that,
You're
and
right.
that's
That's
gone.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gone. So, like I said, but back in the neighborhood, it was somebody's parent even coming home from work. We outside playing. Like a lot of us, we stop and say hi, Miss So and So. How was your day? Like just something, just to greet them because it was out of respect. Now these kids, they they don't do none of that.
They're zombified. They don't
Yeah,
talk.
yeah. Even when you come home, kids on the phone, they don't even know you home. They so glued onto the phone and tablet.
Right.
So
Right. And
yeah,
then I feel like too, like the imagination is gone too. Like
yeah, because they
they
don't
don't
have to
have
think no more. All they have to
imagination.
do is push a button.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, they
Just
don't have
even
to think.
creating is like gone. To create
Right,
stuff gone. All right. So
right.
you've been a barber for many years, like many
Yes,
years.
many years. 1989.
Wow. Okay, let's go there. With 1989, what got you into being a barber? Like, what was the catalyst?
Well, what started was there was a dude in my neighborhood. I ain't gonna say his name, but anyway, there
I
was a
got
dude
you.
in my neighborhood. Every time I walked past his shop to go to school and come home or whatever, he had the nice car, he had the nice truck, and back then what they had like remember the Nissan Maximas, the little square joints with the
Yeah.
BBSs. Yeah, so it was a lot of that stuff. So I'm like, I walk by, I was like, just say what's up to him or whatever. And I was like, I'm gonna start cutting hair. So 1989, I got my first set of clippers. My sister actually bought them from a record store. So yeah, Christmas of '89. That very next day, I started cutting hair. I was cutting my friends in the projects. I mean, they weren't good cuts. Obviously, it's my first time.
Right,
I'm
right.
like, yeah, I was about 11 years old, so I'm like, I'm just starting. But anyway, so from then on, I just kept it going. And then by the age of 14, I was in the same dude I was talking about. I was in his shop on the weekends. So from 14 to let's see, 14, that was on the weekends. And then when school was out, I worked there all summer. Every day I was working with my friends, was playing and all that other stuff outside, doing whatever they doing. And yeah, I was there all summer. And then at the age of what was it, about 16, yeah, I dropped out of school and I just went full time working. So I've been in the shop ever since, pretty much my whole life because I'm 45 now. So if
Damn.
you do the math, yeah,
Yeah, that's
I just
dope.
stuck with it. And my thing was my thing always been was I don't like wearing dress shoes. I don't want to wear a suit. I hate wearing slacks. Like I just hate dressing up like that. I like to be comfortable, regardless if I'm wearing shorts, jeans, or whatever. I just want to be comfortable.
Right,
So this career path lets me do that. So that's why, plus, everything is good as far as financially and all that other stuff. So I'm
right.
like, but the crazy part is like when I was younger, I say, because I always used to be around the older dudes, the older crowd, all the dope boys, whatever the case was. But some of my friends, like their parents used to be like, you need to go upstairs, you need to be in the house or whatever. You're gonna get in trouble, you're not gonna be nothing, da, 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 da. And a lot of their kids are what they said I was gonna become, and I'm more successful than what I'm saying. So it
Right,
like the way the universe works is crazy.
right.
But Yeah, so that's when I've been since 89. So if you want to count that, but professionally, I would
Right.
say I say since I got my license at 19. So
Yeah, but that counts. I mean, 89 counts because that's where
right,
it all started. You know what I mean?
right,
So
100%.
you were around a lot of like older heads, and you were in a career where a lot of people don't last. You know this.
Right,
Um,
100%.
so what advice were you given, like as far as like financial stuff and how to just keep the love for it to do it?
I think that's a tough question because
And
like
the reason why I
personally,
ask is because so many people start things that they don't finish,
right,
or they'll start something that has potential,
right,
but they kind of self sabotage and they don't make it.
right.
You know what I mean?
That's a tough question because, like me personally speaking, this is something that I'm passionate about. You know what I mean? Like I have other things that I want to do and try, but when it comes to this, like this is where my blood lies. You know what I mean? So I would just say don't give up and do it. I mean, yeah, like some people like, yo, how you stand up all day, you don't get tired or whatever. But I learned over the years, what to wear, what not to wear. Like you won't ever see me in the shop wearing Jordans, wearing foams, or any of these, fancy sneakers that everybody's wearing because that's for styling. I'm trying to be comfortable. So a lot of people, when they see me, like, oh, you got on old man shoes or whatever. Yeah, but my feet don't hurt, my knees don't hurt, and I can stand for 15, 20, 24 hours, no problem.
Right.
So that's what I be trying to tell, a lot of the young dudes I'm around, that come through, here and there. I be trying to tell them like, yo, your feet gonna start hurting, like start, wearing, dressing for the occasion, wear comfortable sneakers, wear running shoes, whatever. But, they don't listen. They want to wear the Jordans, they want to wear this, that. So, and a lot of them complain throughout the day and the week, yo, my feet hurt, my knees hurt. I'm like, well, change your shoes. Nah, I'm not doing that. I can't wear those. I ain't that old yet. But you can't even stand up longer than me and I'm older than
Right.
you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's like they don't see it, but I would tell anybody just stick to it. Whatever it is you're doing, just stick to it, focus on it, and give it your all.
And what about like retiring? Do you see yourself like retiring from it, or is it something you're gonna do until you die?
I'm more than likely I won't do it as much as I have been doing it or done it in the past. But it's because it's easy, man. It's easy work. I think of it as legal drug money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, honestly. So that's what it is for me. It's just legit. It's a good living. And like I said, I may not work, 5, 6, 7 days a week, when I get to a certain age, but it's something I'm gonna always do because I got the passion for it. I do have other ideas and stuff, that I'm trying to pursue. But right now, I got to focus on what I have now, you know what I'm saying? And, continue that. But eventually, yeah, I'll venture off and do other things. But this is going to always be my passion. And I'm going to always, do it if forever until I probably die behind the chair, honestly.
So the movie Barbershop with Ice Cube, how real is that? Like is it real
Um,
like that? Like that movie? Like
it,
aspects of it, a lot of
it
it, a little bit of it?
It is. It is. I would say it's about. I say about 85% legit. Because you always got the one old guy who always sitting down. He ain't every time you come in, he ain't doing nothing. But he is making money. But it just be times where they sitting. Um, you still got the hustlers coming in. Yo, I got this for sale. I got that for sale. You get people that do their thing and bring it to the shop. To be purchased. Because they can't do it online or they can't go to certain places and sell this stuff. So yeah, that's totally legit. The arguments are legit. I mean, we've had several of those in the shop. Where barbers, their egos flare up and they want to go back and forth. You're trying to tone it down, and it get louder and worse. But yeah, I say that movie's about 80% accurate.
All right, I got you. All right, so being that you've been doing it since 89, but you said 19 is when you got your license. So I would
Right.
imagine that's when you first got into your shop, the first shop.
No, because I've been in the shop since I was 14.
Okay.
Yeah, I started in New York. So I
Okay, so
started
you
on the
you were cutting
weekends
at 14, you were cutting?
in the barbershop. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah. I
you've
was,
probably seen thousands of people, thousands and thousands, right?
yeah, tens
You
of
can't even count,
thousands.
right?
Tens of
So
thousands. Yeah, for sure.
so what would you say are the rewarding aspects of being a barber and being able to to communicate with people? The positive aspects.
On the positive aspects of being a barber, I say just meeting the different people from different cultures, different walks of life. To me, as I got older, that meant a lot, because like I cut some kid the other day. He from South Dakota. I'm like, damn, so I was asking him questions on how he grew up and stuff like that. I've cut people from Africa, New Zealand, England, like all across the globe, that come in because we in Florida, so it's a tourist destination. So yeah, I would just say that, man, meeting different people from all walks of life, and I try to get as much education as I can when I'm talking to them. Yeah, that's for me. That's what it is.
And so conversely, what are some of the negative aspects that you've encountered being a barber?
Oh man, the negative aspects, trying to be responsible for multiple personalities. That's one. Two, even not, being a owner, whatever the case is, just being the one that everybody comes to with their problems, trying to break this up, trying to fix somebody's household. Like it's just a lot. So it's like barber, counselor, therapist, fucking preacher, like everything, financial advisor, just trying to do all these things in one. And for a long time, this industry, as far as I know, like it was frowned upon. It was like, yeah, you just a barber, you ain't making no money, you ain't, this and that, whatever.
Right.
But, over the last 10, 15 years, it became more popularized, I guess, with social media,
Probably
and
with the
all the other
movie,
stuff.
with
Well,
that
with the
movie,
movie
yeah.
too, yeah, you got a lot of people like, oh, I want to do that. They look like they chilling, they hanging out or whatever. But for me, like I said, since I started, like I'm passionate about it. So for me, it's a different side of things for me versus what a lot of people come in the industry for. And a lot of them come in just for the money. You know what I mean? And that's understandable. I can respect that. Everybody do their own thing. But for me, it's the passion. I'm to the point now where it's like I don't even care about the pay because I got
Right.
clients, that they'll come to me that I've been cutting for a while or whatever, and they might need some help. What I mean? I'm not gonna turn. I'm like, nah, you got to pay me, nah. But it's times where I'm like, cool. I'll just listen, and I don't even tell them, but they'll get up like, yo, can I? I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Like I had one of my clients, he was on his way to a funeral. He had to bury his brother, and I think it was Georgia, somewhere up north. And he was like, "Yo, how much you gonna charge me to come in early or whatever? I gotta hit the road or whatever." I got to the barbershop at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I took care of him or whatever. We talked, and he told me everything that was going on. And he got up to pay me, and I was like, "Nah, bro, you good?" I gave him a hug or whatever, and he started crying. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like, "Yo, I appreciate it," whatever. Just little stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's how I approach certain situations. But yeah, and I've been cutting this dude's hair since he was like, I don't know, maybe 11, 12 years old. You know what I'm
No
saying? So
fucking way. So how old is he
yeah,
now?
he's 20. No, actually, he's older. He's 30. He's 32, 33.
Damn. So almost 20
Yeah.
years?
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a
Wow.
long time. A lot of my clientele go way back with me. So I've been cutting dude when I first got to a shop in Orlando. I still got clients from when I started at, let me see, I was at All Pro. It used to be called Ebony Attitude. I started there in 90, actually December of 96, because I was still in school getting my license.
Right.
So I was working on the weekends. So I started that December 96. I remember right before Christmas. So I still got clients from that time till now. So just yeah, you do the math. That's almost well, we in 2023. So you go back from 96 till now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
That's awesome, dude. Shit.
yeah.
So out of all the conversations, what are some of the craziest stories you've heard or some of the profound stuff that you've heard, conversations, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man.
Any come to mind like something that stuck out and you're like,
I mean, I could
that's
give you
crazy.
bits and pieces because I don't want
Yeah,
to say
God,
too much of the story just in
I
case
got
somebody
you.
watches and be like, "That was he talking about you?" You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
nah, I hear a lot of crazy stuff, man. Like I got clients that are married that they doing their thing on the side and they having fun with. I'm like, bro, you too old for this. You know what I mean? Like, come on. But I hear stories like that. I deal with a lot of clients that are young parents and they going through the baby mama drama. So I'm trying to help them with that. I give them advice on that because I've been through it. Um, a little bit of financial advice. Some people ask me, how do I save money or, what can I do or, different aspects. I try to help. It's just everything. Like the barbershop is like a counseling center, you know what I'm saying? Like a therapy center, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? So most of the time it's just conversations about everything. So anything profound, yeah, just my clients doing their thing on the side, man. It's crazy because they think like it's cool, and I'm like, bro, you older than me,
Right.
like slow down, like come on. But I mean, that's their life, you know what I'm saying? I just listen.
Like, have you had anybody come in that's like, yo, I'm a secret agent or some shit, or you know what I mean? Like I'm
Um,
undercover.
nah, but I did, bro. This is crazy too, and I hope he don't get mad if he watches this. But I had a client, and at the time, he was working for the Secret Service. He was doing bodyguard work for all these big politicians. Um, I forgot what they called overseas, but kings and queens, whatever. They used to
Right.
send him all over the place. And bro, this dude, when I met him, I cut him for he had a deployment over here, whatever the case was. But no, he bought a house here. So I cut him for about a good 4 years before they sent them. I think it was Australia, somewhere they had to send him for an assignment for a couple of years. But bro, this dude at the time when I met him, he was 32 years old. And if you look at him, you would swear he was in his late 50s. Like he just aged. It was bad because he had to deal with a lot of stress. He got to deal with explosions. He got to deal with, getting this person from this point to that point. Like it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So that's as far as that goes, that's probably as close to a secret agent that you know what I'm saying that I cut. But I do cut, police officers, lawyers, like all walks of life. But as
Right.
far as that goes, that specific, yeah, it was him.
Can you get into, because I know that you've developed relationships with some of your coworkers, and I don't want you to say any names or nothing,
Right.
but I know that there was one there that recently got in trouble, like seriously, like he's possibly in jail. Can you get into that? Because I know that you were kind of like you
Yeah, I
knew
mean,
him.
yeah. He used to work. Yeah, he used to work over there with us. Yeah, I mean, from back then, I mean, I tried to, guide this kid. I tried to, encourage him, talk to him. And even back then, he was having baby mama issues or whatever the case is. I tried, I used to help him out with his kid or whatever the case is. And for some reason, I never understood, and this is part of the story, so I'm gonna just bring it this way. But I never understood why kids who are born in the suburbs and have a good life want to be hood. And then the kids in the hood that got it rough and rugged, they trying to get out of that. But you got the suburb kids trying to be that. You know what I mean? Like I never understood it. And that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to be a thug. He wanted to be a dope boy. He wanted to be, whatever. And he wound up catching a murder charge. So now he's fighting, whatever it is. He keeps telling, because I don't talk to him no more. Me, I'm the type of person, once I cut you off, you cut off forever. So he, I guess he going through the court thing. He keep telling people that we still know that he going, get off or whatever. I mean, if he does, cool, but I don't see it happening. You know what I'm saying? So there's a possibility he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. But I try. It was other people in there too that I tried to help. I'm trying to guide them, but they don't want to hear it. They want to hear the shit that these rappers and everything else is talking about. You know what I mean? They want to live that life because they think it's cool and exciting. But that shit don't bring nothing but headache, drama, and fucking death or jail. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? But they don't want to hear that. They think it's cool. They want to be like, yeah, I want to live this lifestyle. And you can live that lifestyle as far as like the cars and the jewelry and the clothes and all that. Just bring your ass to work because you can make the money. You ain't gonna make as much or money that fast, but you can still get a nice car. You can still get a nice chain. You can still get nice whatever. You know what I'm saying? But they don't want that. They want it now.
Right. Right.
But
So,
yeah.
no, go ahead. You were gonna say something? Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, but that's as far as that story goes, man. He pretty much messed up his life, and there's a lot of people that's in this city that don't like him because he did a lot of people dirty. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the walls are closing in on you. You have nowhere to go. And you did that yourself, so that's something you got to live with.
Right. Right. Yeah, and you were talking about like how you got this dude who grew up a good life, and I know plenty of people that grew up two parent
Right,
and lived in houses, never lived in apartments. They don't know what it's like living in an apartment with roaches and all that shit. They never lived that
right,
life. And
right,
then they want to be all thug and trying
right,
to master the New York accent and shit. And
right. 100%.
I know plenty of people like that. But speaking about the culture, the barbershop is so connected to the culture, particularly the hip hop culture.
Right.
What are your thoughts on what have you seen that as far as like the changes, and what are your thoughts on the changes of that whole culture? How these kids are now different, they listen to different music. The music honestly to me sucks now.
Me too, 100%. As far as the barber culture goes, it's changing for the worse. You got kids coming out of school and they haircuts are absolutely trash and they charging 30, 40, 50, $60 for a haircut. You know what I mean? And all these kids are using enhancements. They spray painting every fucking thing. They using pencils. They using all types of. It's just crazy. And a lot of them, they like, yo, you don't use that. I'm like, nah, I'm not using that shit because I can do everything without that. I've been doing it. You know what I mean? And I've actually had some clients, well, not even clients, but I've had some people that came in and that they'll show me a picture on Instagram or on Google or whatever. They're like, yo, I want this haircut. I'm like, bro, that's all paint. They was like, no, it's not. I said, bro, that's all paint. There's no way somebody edge is that dark, that sharp. You know what I mean? Like, that's all paint. They're like, yeah, well, can you do that? I'm like, I can do it, but I'm not going to do it. So I'll just send them to somebody else or I'll have them wait or send them somewhere else
Right.
because I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like these kids are killing the culture of barbering. And yeah, it looks good, it's exciting or whatever. But me personally, and you can ask anybody that's been in this game as long as I have, that's not the way to go. Like we not with that. You want a haircut, we gonna give you a haircut. You know what I'm saying? Like back then it was like you'll get a design, whether it's like a little lightning bolt or whatever the case is. I had some dudes that I was cutting with in New York that they were just straight nasty with it. They'll put whatever you want. You want a portrait? They've been doing that, but it was no paint. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Right.
but these kids nowadays, they just killing it with all that, all the gimmicks. That's what I call the gimmicks. And it's just it's just out of control. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know who introduced that? Like how that when that all started?
Well, with the paints,
Yeah, with the paints and a
it's
lot of stuff that I'm seeing.
honestly they got that from Instagram. It was either Instagram or YouTube, but that's where it came from. But I've never been a person to get into that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And a matter of fact, this was in the early 90s when I was in the shop in New York. The most we did was, and I haven't seen nobody do it out here, and it used to be crazy. Like they'll do a design. Like I remember this dude I worked with, he did a Kansas City Chiefs design in somebody's head. He did the whole arrow, the KC, all that stuff. And what he did was he got weave glue, the stuff that the chicks be using to glue their hair. So he got the weave glue, he got red and white rhinestones. And he laced that whole. I used to have a picture of this shit on a Polaroid, but
Mhm.
after moving so many places, I lost a lot of stuff. But bro, he laced it like that was dope back then. But now these kids, I've never seen nobody do that down here, and I don't think they ever will because they got the spray cans.
Right. So what does that do? The spray and all that. Like I know it makes it look sharper, but how long does it last? I
Until you
mean,
take a shower. You take a
so
shower and start sweating, is over. That's why I don't use it. You know what I'm saying? But these kids, the first thing a lot of these people do after they get a haircut now is take a selfie. You know what I'm saying? And that's all they do is selfies. So that looks sharp, but by the time they get home, their hairline look crazy when they wash it out or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
right,
But they keep going back to these people. But
right,
it is what it is. I ain't knocking nobody hustle. Do your
right.
thing. But me personally and people from my generation ain't doing it.
So where do you see the industry going in the future?
Well, the good thing is, as far as this industry goes, I don't see them building any robots yet. you know what I'm saying, to do haircuts.
Right.
So the industry is going to last for a long time. It's just what's going on now and moving forward. It's still going to be here, but eventually it's going to I think the gimmicks and stuff might die out because, people getting older, they don't want all that shit in their head. You know what I'm saying? Like they want a haircut, they want to go.
Right.
Just that's what I'm running into a lot of now. My clients are like, yo, I just want a haircut. I'm tired. I'm ready to go home. So, but a lot of these kids, as they get older, they're gonna stop using it because it's too time consuming. You know what I'm saying? And then you got people like we pretty much in a recession. So some of these kids and as they start working and getting bills and stuff like that, they're not going to be able to afford those enhancements. You know what I'm saying? So I think eventually it'll die out or it'll balance out some kind of way to where it will come to an end because it's just getting out of control.
Right. Do you see like or is there, because I'm not into like the community of barbers, right? Because I'm not a barber.
Right.
But is there like a rap star of barbers? Like, is there a way to become like at that level where you're known like a rapper would be? And is it
Yes, but
worth
that
it?
no, it's not. Honestly, it's not. Like you got some people they might cut like a football player or they might cut a rapper one time and all of a sudden they label themselves as a celebrity barber. You know what I'm saying? And like you cut this dude here one time. Like, come on. But you got some people out there that are famous for cutting certain people certain producers rappers or whatever cases players on a regular basis. But me personally, the few that I've come across in my lifetime, for one, majority of them, some of them are cool, you know what I'm saying, but they cheat. And then they want you on their time. They want you to jump when they say jump. And I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want me to come to your house and cut your hair, this is what the price is. And it's not because they have the money, because I would do that across the board for anybody, because I gotta pack up all this stuff. I gotta lug all this shit, set it up, take it down, drive here, drive there, pay tolls, you know what I'm saying? So that all that comes into consideration. But yeah, you got some people out there like that, but me, when I've come across them a lot, I don't want to deal with them because I'm not jumping for you. You're not gonna call me at 2 in the morning to come cut you. I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? But you got some people that will because they want to be in that circle. But all it takes is for them to move or for you to say no to them one time. They cutting you off, they're gonna find somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I try to stick with my people that's been loyal to me. I like cutting everyday average people. You know what I'm saying? Because the conversation is better, the chemistry is better, and the longevity is better. You know what I'm saying? So that's my motto on that.
Right. And what about like the tools? Like, let me give you an example. Like, I'm on Pinterest and I'll be looking at stuff to get ideas for art or whatever. And then I'll see like this little ad for like this gold looking razor that cuts so sharp that people like,
And that's a gimmick.
I know, but
It's called marketing.
yeah.
Honestly, yeah,
And then
it's all
there's another
marketing.
one. There's another one I saw where the blade is they show this dude cutting his hair and it's like a perfect fade because the blade is somewhat angled in a certain way and blah
It's
blah
all
blah.
marketing. That's all
Right.
editing and marketing.
So
Yeah.
why is there like to me that's like a concerted effort to kind of take food out of the barber's mouth and have everybody do stuff from home? Is that like along the lines of technology, just trying
No,
to keep people dumbed down?
no, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because most barbers don't even want to cut their own hair. It's like a mechanic. He got the worst car, but he got everybody else car, what I'm saying, driving good. But he don't got time. He don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how barbers on. Like me personally, I hate cutting other barbers because you're too
Right.
fucking picky. Like, just shut the fuck up, get your hair cut. Why are you complaining? Like, I don't do it. You know what I'm saying? But it's just marketing. And then like a couple of years ago, remember they had the self-cut system where you had the 3 mirrors. That was bullshit. I had clients of mine buying that shit. And then they coming to me, they bought that, they bought clippers, they tried to do it themselves, they messed up, and then they came to me to pay for another haircut. So you wasting your fucking money.
Right.
But I ain't knocking nobody hustle. Whoever invented that was genius because he cashed out and you don't even see the advertisements no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they cashed out. So which is, do your thing. But yeah, I don't see people doing it from home. They might try to do it, but it's because they got a meeting at work, or they going on vacation. They don't want to, look crazy. So they're gonna come to the barbershop. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And even if they try it themselves, either way, they come into the barbershop. Now you do have some people that's cutting at the house, you know what I'm saying, or in their garage. But at the end of the day, you're not gonna want all these people coming to your crib because that's supposed to be your sanctuary. You know what I'm saying? So eventually that's gonna die out because that's how I started. I had people coming in, to my room in the projects. I'm cutting their hair in my room. My mom yelling at me like, "You getting all this shit on your bed? Da, da, da. I gotta wash the sheets, whatever." So it's like, but I'm like, we in the projects. I got a room. I'm trying to, practice and learn shit, but
Dude, I remember in New York seeing people on the fire escape cutting hair.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, because those were the what do they call them? Like brownstones or something. They had the fire escapes. But when you're in the projects, you live on a 7th, 18th floor, 12th floor,
Right.
whatever. There's no fire escapes. You know what I'm saying? So you had to do it in the room or in the hallway. So yeah, it was just one of those things. But yeah, I don't see it I don't see it, phasing out like that as far as that goes. But you're always gonna have people try, just like people change their own oil. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
you got to bring your car to the mechanic at some point. So it's one of those things.
I remember
But
remember the Flowbee?
Flowbee.
It was like this it was like a vacuum that had a
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. They had so many names for that thing. But what I was told that the military used that a lot. They used to use
really
that. Yeah, the one of this dude I used to cut, he passed away. He used to be a drill sergeant. And he used to tell me that when the cadets came in for the first time, like they would use that to vacuum up the hair and stuff like that while they were cutting because you got a buzz cut, so it was
right.
nothing fancy. Yeah, so he was like
Right.
they
You're
would
right.
use that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
but yeah, I've never got into that. I keep my tools simple, but you know how you can spot a new barber when you walk into a shop. It's the one that has the most clippers. You could tell he's new. You know what I mean? Like you don't. I'd be telling them like, "Yo, you don't need all that," but they're like, "Oh, well, this the school that I'm like, bro, you don't need that. You need the basic tools. You
Right.
need at most probably 3 clippers. You need your edger, whatever you fading with and whatever you blending with, and then your scissors. That's all you need. And then, I don't even consider the shaver, a clipper, but that's just, to get it to the skin or whatever the case is.
Right.
But you got dudes with 15 clippers on a station. I'm like, what the fuck is that for? You know what I mean? Like you're just wasting time and you got clutter, but it is what it
It
is.
is what it is, right? All right, Chuck, we're gonna start to get ill. All right.
Let's do it.
We're gonna go down the deep dark rabbit hole. All right. So how long have you had when did you start your business? When did you eventually get your own business?
Well, I considered, and this is gonna sound crazy, but I hear this a lot too. But I've always been my own boss. You know what I'm saying? Whatever shop, I always rented a chair, whatever the case was. So I pretty much started in 2011. Like I got pushed to do it. I was like, yo, I'm tired of, and I've been to one, two, three. I was at my third shop.
Right.
But I ain't move around too much. And actually, my second shop was actually the first shop. He just moved locations and changed the name. So that's like 2 and 1. But yeah, I left that shop because he wasn't keeping up with the times. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing would work. We would barely have light. He wouldn't put the AC on dead of summer. We in there sweating, cutting. That's a whole nother story. So I left him because I had an opportunity to come down to Alafaya Colonial. So I went to that shop and everything was cool for the first year. And then the second year, I just seen a lot of things changing that I didn't like, and it wasn't my place. So I was like, I'm either going to deal with it because I don't like the shop hop. So I was like, I'm either going to deal with it or I'm going to do my own thing. So I was like, fuck it. I just decided to do my own thing. And then, I had a lot of empty promises. Like, yeah, call me, this, that, I'm going to come through, blah, blah, blah. And, once, everything opened, it was like nobody answering the phone, nobody returning text messages, nobody, like everybody was like, oh, let's see what happens now. Like this shit about to go ugly.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? But the type of dude I am, and just being the way the way I was raised and stuff, coming from where I come from, like we built to handle certain shit, you know what I'm saying? So I just stuck it out. And then the good thing is, my wife, she the one that pretty much like held me down. She was like, nah, we did this, we fucking sticking with it, so shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? And stay focused.
Right.
But yeah, because like we get vulnerable too sometimes. You need somebody to talk to. So it's like I was talking to her, and she had me straight, and we pretty much made it. It wasn't easy. It
Right.
took about 2.5 years to get like the ball rolling. So that's
Right.
how bad it was, because you have people come, they'll work a couple of weeks, a month or two, and then quit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like all the people I thought was like, yo, I'm coming through, I'm gonna beat it, this and that, we're gonna get it cracking. They just closed the curtain on me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it's funny because a lot of those people, once I got rolling, that's when the calls started coming in. They're like, yo, you got a spot, you this, you that. I'm like, nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So
So why do you think that was? You think it's because it was fear on their end, like
nah,
there's a new shop, you
it's
know,
not fair. It's called jealousy, like Fat Joe say, man.
jealous
Jealousy and
one's envy.
envy. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So it's that thing, and that's part of our culture, the crabs in the
Right.
bucket. You know what I'm saying? Like we pretty much, the only culture that does that. Because if you get the Asians, the Jews, or whatever, like everybody's supporting each other.
Right.
But what I learned over the years is everybody wants the title of boss. I guess they getting it from the songs, Rick Ross, whatever. I'm a boss, this and that.
Right.
And I even had people tell me, "Oh, yeah, I got a license, so I'm my own boss." No, the fuck you not. You can't even manage a chair. You know what I mean? Like, how you going? They want the title, they just don't want the responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things.
So the shop that you're at now, that's the only shop you've owned yourself?
Yes,
And when did you
yes.
start?
2011.
2011. So you've been doing it for a while, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so then the pandemic hits.
right,
And this is a testament to me, like to let people know, like, you know, you can survive because how did you survive through all that when all businesses, small businesses were shutting down left and right? And
right.
your job, you have to be in contact with people. That's your
100%.
job.
All
You know
right.
what I mean? So
I,
how did you navigate through all that?
okay. Well, all right. The pandemic hit. This is a great question. So
Right.
this is the
So hold
benefits.
up. So
Yeah.
okay. So before the pandemic hit, when did you start seeing signs and stuff? Like, give me like the breakdown if you can, because I want to get like into your mind, like how you viewed everything from when it first started, as you were going through it, and then finally where we're at right now, where like it's not as bad now, but something's gonna come back. We'll talk about that. But
Right.
so can you break it down like that?
All right, yeah. So for a long time, like I've always is just like people say like, oh, the voice in my head, or I got this feeling. Like it's one of those things. Like I've seen this coming for a long time because I mean, just like you do your research, you're like, oh, that's conspiracy, that's not real, that's this and that. So just based on reading certain things and watching certain stuff, it's like I know something is coming, I know something's gonna happen, but I just don't know when. You know what I mean? So when prior to the pandemic hit, like everything was flowing, but I was still prepping. Like I'm always on guard, basically. And it's
Right.
like a good but a bad thing because it can get stressful sometimes. Because you never know if anything's gonna happen. Something might not happen. Something might, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things. But I've
So was
always
it a
prepped.
feeling or you seeing signs of stuff?
I've seen signs of stuff. So it's almost like you see the gas go up, then it goes down. Then it's like, well, this company is cutting this amount of people, this company is cutting that amount of people, the stock market is going on. So it's like something else is going on, in the background. So, the antennas go up, you start thinking, you start doing research and all this other stuff. So when the pandemic hit, everything just came to a standstill for everybody across the board. Everything was closed, like you couldn't do anything. So the benefit that I had was, and if you find the news clippings or whatever, they was like any businesses that are open, you subject to prosecution. Even the lady in Texas, I'm pretty sure everybody's seen that, where she had a salon, but she was supposed to be closed and let her employees come to work because that's the only way they make money. So with us, everything came to a standstill, and I shut down for it was about a whole week, and like that made me realize how much I value time. Like I wasn't valuing it, but when everything shut down, it was like, damn, I'm home. Like I got to enjoy my place. I got to be with my wife more. We got to do things together. And that set off an alarm on me, like, damn, my time is more precious than me being out here working 7, 6, 7 days a week, 12, 15 hours a day. So after we shut down for the week, I got that going. And then I'm like, damn, now I start thinking about everybody that's in the shop. I'm like, I don't know if they prepared like I am. Because I can go for however long and be straight. But them, I'm like, they got, some of them had just had kids. Some of them got bills, even though they single, but they got car notes, cell phone, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
But you don't have to give a fuck about them if you didn't want
no,
to.
I don't. Nah, I could have been like, fuck y'all, but they weren't paying for their chair, you know what I'm saying? Because they ain't making no money. I'm not going to, charge them. So, but being the person that I am, I'm like, damn, I got to do something. Like, these dudes is probably hungry, you know what I'm saying? And then the phone calls start coming like, yo, I'm on my last, $1,000, or I'm on, whatever. I need some paper. So I was like, cool. I sent out a text, and you guys, anybody that was at the shop at that time, I was like, bro, this is the deal. I'm putting my freedom at risk because I can go to jail, I can get fined, I can go through all these complications. But since y'all my crew, you know what I'm saying? Like, we like a family, I'ma open up, but these are the rules. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can only have one or two people, you know what I'm saying? One or two clients in the shop at a time. It can't be kids running around. Like, I just had the whole setup. So it's going to be appointment only, and everybody has to come, through the back door, whatever the case is, pause. But so I blacked out the front, you know what I'm saying? So when you look in, it's like, nah, that shit closed. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, just have your clients call you when they pull up, because we got the Walmart in the back. They can blend in with the traffic. Just, they call you, go open the door, let them in, lock the door, you know what I'm saying? Get them in, get them out. So some of them was like, yeah, I'm with it. And then some of them chose to just stay home and, cut hair at the house or whatever the case is. But I let them know, like, yo, this is what I'm risking for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, if it was an option, they didn't have to come back. So some of them did, some of them didn't. But we did that until they allow us to open up or whatever the case was. And then when we were able to open, the county tried to put it was called a strike team. So now you can open, but you can't have people standing around. Like, you can only have, like, every every other chair has to be vacant. You can't have people sitting next to each other. It was the whole 6 foot, whatever.
That bullshit.
Yeah, everybody has to wear a mask. Even the barbers got to wear a mask. The customers got to wear a mask. So now I'm trying to work. I see people coming in without a mask, and I'm like, fuck, now I got to stop what I'm doing, go up front. I'm like, yo, these are the rules. If you want to be in here, y'all got to abide by this. This is not me. This is state law or whatever. So then I'm like, you have some people like, oh, well, I'll just go somewhere else, just being ignorant and fucking stupid. But that's what I had to do, because at the time nobody knew what was, what I'm saying, going on. So in order for me to operate legitimately and not have people come through the back door and all this other stuff, these are the rules we have to follow. So we went through that, and yeah, it just worked out. But like I said, I if you rocking with me, like, you on my team or whatever, if I rock with you, then I'm gonna do what I can to help you out. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I did. And then in the long run, I mean, it worked out for the better, because, we went back to making money, and that's when everybody got on Booksy. You had to make an appointment and all this other stuff. So now we're here now. So now you got people like, oh, if you ain't making an appointment, I can't cut you, which is stupid. Because I've been in this game longer than you've been alive. And that's why I be texting. I'm like, yo, you here? How far? Whatever. Because if I got 10, 15 minutes to cut somebody and you running late, I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's extra money. Right. But these kids don't see it that way. If you ain't making an appointment with them, they don't want to cut you. They don't want to work, which is stupid. But as far as the hair industry, for the most part, I look at it as recession proof, because even back in 08, when the housing market crashed and all that other stuff, I mean, we were still making money. It ain't as much, but we still making money. And even now it's slowed down, but we still making money. You know what I'm saying? You may not be able to, put, let's say if you was putting X amount of money away, it's probably cut in half now. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little different, but everybody's still eating, which is a good thing.
So what are your thoughts on the whole pandemic thing?
Oh man, you're gonna have the feds on my door.
Dude, they're gonna be at my door too. So
yeah, fuck it, we go to jail together. I think the whole pandemic, I mean, Was there an illness? Yes, but it wasn't no different than the flu, you know what I'm saying? Or SARS or H1N1. It was the same shit. I think this is my opinion and probably a lot of other people's, but I think the pandemic was a test run for them to see how many people they can get to comply with with their agenda. You know what I'm saying? Because I got a lot of friends now. I'm talking about a lot that took the shot, and I told him like, bro, don't take that shit. I'm like, you don't remember Tuskegee? You don't remember the Ebola and all this other shit that they did in Africa with the polio vaccine, and we got an AIDS epidemic? Like, pay attention. They're like, nah, but I got to do this. I want to travel. I'm like, just wait it out. I'm like, you can't go nowhere anyway. You know what I'm saying? Everything was locked down. You had to get all these tests and COVID passports and all this bullshit. And now it's like they got all these people to comply. Now everybody's worried. You know what I'm saying? Because well, a lot, whoever I got on my IG that took the shot, every time I see something, I send it to them, and they fucking nervous. They scared because a lot of people dying of, cardiac arrest,
Right.
dying in their sleep. I just had one of my good friends in New York. I think I told you I flew to New York right after Thanksgiving to help him bury his mom because she was healthy, working every day, whatever. She got vaccinated, boosted, and she just, she passed the night before Thanksgiving while she was preparing food. No warning signs, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? The heart stopped. And when he called me, I was like, bro, wait till the autopsy. I guarantee you it's from the vaccine. So what happened was after the autopsy and everything, yeah, I forgot the medical term, but it was, with the complications from blood clots or whatever in the heart. So I'm like, bro, that's what it is. So now that he took the vaccine, he's a little nervous and he's trying to figure out what he can do to try to rid it or whatever the case is.
Right.
But I think the whole pandemic thing, like I said, was a test run because there's more stuff coming. You know what I'm saying? But when you try to talk to people or you try to give them information or whatever, they're like, you're a conspiracy theorist. That's bullshit. You got that from a movie. So I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the whole, the lockdown and everything. It was just trying to see how many people they can get to comply. And they
Yeah,
got
it
a
was.
lot of people.
Yeah, and it was a money thing too, because
Oh,
the
100%.
pharmaceutical industry made so much money off of that
Well,
vaccine. Because that vaccines normally go through a trial and
right,
they test, and that's usually a 10-year thing before
right,
they release it.
right.
And they never tested; they just released it.
No, they did test it. They tested on everybody they mandated it to. You see what I'm saying? So that
Right,
was
right.
their test
That
run.
was their test.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
even the guy he was on another podcast, I forgot his name, but even the inventor, he had the patents and everything. Even he said it wasn't ready for human trials because all the animals and stuff they tested it on were dying from the same thing humans are dying from.
Right,
And then if you notice too, there was reports. I think they still coming out, but a lot of the CEOs of these pharmaceutical companies they were cashing out their stocks and everything and retiring. They made billions of dollars and they dipped because they knew that this was coming. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's hard to talk to people because they only believe what mainstream media, puts out to them. But when
right,
you try to give them some insight or whatever, they're like, nah, you lying, or they don't want to hear it until it
right.
hits home. Then it's like, oh shit, this dude was right. You know what I mean? But it is what
And
it
then,
is.
and then even if they know you're right, they won't admit it,
Nah,
which
because they
which is
they
crazy.
want to hear what they want to hear. You know what
Right,
I'm saying? But yeah, like with me, because my wife, my kids, I was like, don't get the shit. Like we not getting it or whatever the case is. My wife was like, well, I don't want to be the one that contracts it and my body can't fight it. I'm like, babe, it's just the flu. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't nothing serious. So I didn't let her get it. We agreed, she wasn't gonna get it. I'm definitely not getting this shit because I don't fucking listen to anybody.
no,
That's just how I am.
no.
That's just like whatever. But I'm
I could
like,
tell you not to get it, bro. Like I got it. I got the first one,
right,
but that was for work.
right,
I should have just not got it and got fired or whatever. But I
right.
mean, I
But see,
got that.
not
But the boosters, hell no.
nah. But they still trying. But now like is less and less commercials on now because like every time you saw something, it was like oh so and so I got the jab or we here to protect our community and all this bullshit. But it don't even fucking work because they still giving vaccines for the original COVID-19, and then the Omicron, which is obsolete now because that shit done mutated now. So it's so watered down that it's a regular cold now. You
Right.
know what
It's
I'm
nothing
saying?
right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, why are you still giving people this poison when there's it's not gonna do anything because you can still get COVID, you can still die. So, and then what's killing people, like I said, is the blood clots, the heart failure, the stroke. Even my sister, 2 strokes in one weekend.
Oh
Boosted,
wow.
vaccinated, yeah. So it's like, I'm not touching it. Nothing
Yeah.
that they say I'm getting nothing.
Right.
So it is what it is.
Yeah, because they say it attacks like the respiratory system, but that's not true. It attacks the blood.
Yeah,
That's the reason
yeah,
why you got the blood clots and all
yeah,
that shit because it attacks the
yeah,
blood. And the best way to combat it is by taking iron and not being on a respirator because you're not.
yeah,
It has nothing to do with your. After it attacks your blood, it does affect your respiration, but
right.
that's not the main cause. And the Fauci, that's a dude, man. Holy shit! You know anything about Fauci?
Yeah, I watched the documentary that Robert Kennedy put out, The Real Dr. Fauci. I watched
Right.
that, and that dude is so fucked. I don't understand how he's not in prison.
That's what
Because
he's a killer.
even going back to the AIDS epidemic, like
Right.
remember they used to show commercials with or the news clips, you got dudes looking like skeletons in the hospital and just bad on respirators and all kind of shit. But the studies came out that what was killing those people was the AZT drug that he got the FDA to approve for them to take. And that shit was so toxic. It wasn't even supposed to be consumed because it was like
It was a
a
failed
cancer.
cancer drug.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a failed cancer drug, but he was like, all right, let's give it to these people. You know what I'm saying? And just so they could make money on the shit. And a lot of good people died from it.
Yep. Yep.
You know?
Yeah, my brother's father, because we don't share the same father. His father died
Right.
and shouldn't have died. And then, we're talking about COVID. Like I had a family friend die that shouldn't have died. They put
Right.
him on a respirator. He's gone. My uncle recently passed from
Right.
COVID. It sucks, man. So paranormal, because you and I go deep down the well of the paranormal. How
Right.
how like what got you into that? Like when were you first really fucking with that? Thinking about paranormal or you know,
Yeah, I mean, it's been like on and off, since I don't know, as far as back as I can remember. Cause like you're a little kid and you like, damn, what was that? You in the house or whatever, you see a
right, right,
shadow or whatever, you don't know what it is.
right.
So I guess from back then on and off, and then I'm gonna tell you a situation then this was kind of crazy because I wasn't even home at the time.
What a
So
paranormal thing?
yeah,
Okay,
so
okay. Good, good.
yeah, so I'm gonna get into that right now. So we were living in Choliota. We had a house out there, and we had a intercom system, so you communicate to the rooms or whatever, all throughout the house. So I don't know where. I think I went to Publix, or I went somewhere to go to the store to do something. So, and it was around Mother's Day. Now, usually Mother's Day and my mother's birthday, and around the time she passed, which was the day before Thanksgiving back in '03. So, Thanksgiving Eve. So, 3 times a year, I usually light a candle for her. So, it was around Mother's Day. And like, I, I was supposed to light the candle, but I was so busy with everything else that I didn't get to light the candle. So, uh, I go to the store, wherever I did, whatever. So my wife calls me. Now, keep in mind, we've never used this intercom system, never since we've been in this damn house. So my wife calls me. She was like, I need you to come home right now. I was like, what the hell happened? Like, one of the kids okay? Like, what's wrong? She was like, you need to come home right now. This is scary. So I'm trying to get it out of her. She's like, just come home. So I stop what I'm doing. I rush home. Now, listen to this shit. So remember, I didn't light the candle. So I get home. She's like, by the time I got home, she had turned it off. So what happened was the intercom system started playing Spanish music throughout the house. Now, keep in mind, we've never turned this shit on at all. So it started playing Spanish music. So I'm like, are you serious? She was like, yes, this shit is scary. You didn't light the candle for your mother. I don't know if it's that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on, but we don't listen to Spanish music. And the shit started playing. So she wound up turning it off. So I'm like, all right, I'll go get the candle, whatever. I'm trying to, assess everything, trying to see if there was a glitch or whatever. As I'm doing that, the shit comes on again. And I'm like, Oh shit. And they playing like I think it was like Frankie Ruiz or whatever. And that was one of my mom's favorite
Oh
artists.
shit.
So it's like she's like, I think that's your mom trying to communicate to you, like she needs, the light or whatever. Because I got that from my mom. Because anybody we knew that passed away, she would always light a candle for them or whatever. She called it giving them light through the darkness or whatever it was.
That's dope.
Yeah, so I picked that up. So after she passed, I started doing that every year. So I'm like, oh, like it, like I was trying to figure out how to make a joke out of it because you know what I'm saying. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's her or if it's just a glitch. You know what I mean? So anyway, long story short, I go get the candle, whatever the case is. Stop, never came on again. Once I lit the candle. So then fast forward, we wound up getting a dog. So we had a Rottweiler puppy or whatever the case is. As he's getting older. Then around Mother's Day and the anniversary of my mom's death, he would always go stand by the door and just look up. And we're like, what the fuck is this dog doing? Like he's just standing there, like looking up or whatever. He'll stay there for a few minutes, then he'll come back to us. And like he'll do it throughout the day. You know what I'm saying? The whole time. And I guess Googling or whatever, they saying like animals could see stuff that we can't. They could see spirits or whatever the case is. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that was my experience. So ever since then, I just been like trying to pay attention to, different things and trying to see if what I'm seeing is real or not real. So moving forward, the house we in now, I got cameras and shit outside. So my cameras pick up something on flying around outside. So I get the alert, I look at it, and once I YouTubed it and Google it, they're called orbs. I don't know if you ever
Yeah.
seen those.
Yeah.
So the crazy thing is, so I still got the video clip in her iCloud. So what happened was the thing went up to my vehicle, floated around the vehicle, went to my front door, stood there for a couple of seconds, and then you see it just floating over my truck and it disappeared. And bro, when I seen that, I'm like, man, what the fuck is that? And then I showed it to a couple of friends or something. They're like, oh, that's probably like a mosquito. I'm like, bro, you could see the full circle. Like you could tell a bug on camera and you could
Right.
tell it's some type of entity out there. So what I did was I made the clip or whatever. I sent it to all three of my sisters, and I'm like, listen, I just moved here, whatever. I don't know if this is, something to do with mom or whatever the case is, but I need you to see this. And when they saw it, my sister called back. She was like, I'm in tears, that might be her, or it might be something trying to warn you, or whatever the case is. But the shit was like, it was like shocking and scary. You know what I'm saying? So that's been my experience as far as that goes.
Damn, man, that's some crazy ass shit, man. So you got
Yeah.
something following you, possibly. You and the family.
Possibly, but whatever it is good because every situation I've been in, I've always been protected. So I don't
Right.
know, like I said, I don't know what it is, but every experience that I've had, whether it was life changing or whatever, I've always been protected. So could it be? Maybe. Could it not be? I don't know. But either way, whatever it is, they got something wrapped around me that's protecting me, and regardless of what happens, I know that I'm good just based on my experience, what I'm saying, from then till now.
Right. That intercom. It
Mm-hmm.
was just the intercom. It wasn't a radio, right?
Well, you were allowed. The way they set it up was I could communicate to each room because it was 4 bedrooms. It was the master and then my kids' rooms. So I would be able to communicate to them through that, and it also had a radio channel. But the thing was, we've never used it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I never turned it on. I know I never played any type of music, whether it was Spanish, hip hop, whatever. We've never turned it on. We were in that house for I think we spent about 8 years in that house and never used that thing. And it wasn't until like the second or third year that's when that happened. That's why I'm like, I don't know if it's a glitch, but why would it go to just Spanish music? And it was Mother's Day, you know what I'm saying? And it was that one year that I didn't light the candle. So it's like it's a lot of things playing in your mind. Like, could
Mm.
it be? Could it not be? But we didn't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? But I know once I lit that candle, the music never came back on. So I made sure I did it for Thanksgiving, her birthday, and Mother's Day. So that's 3 times a year, and still to this day I do it.
Right. Now in that house, anything after that? Any weird experiences?
No, but besides the dog, that was it. And
That
that
was
was
it.
him. Yeah, he'll go to the door and he'll just stare up Because you know how some doors you have like it's like a skylight or whatever it
Right.
is. He would just go there and just stare up there, whatever. He'll sit there for a few minutes and then he'll just walk away calmly. Like it wasn't no like, you know, craziness going on with him. Every now and then he would bark and go there, but there was nothing there. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knocked on the door. There was no animals, nothing outside because I didn't catch nothing on camera.
What about any other experiences in your life that you think like, wow, that's weird, other than those two stories?
Um,
Like anything in the barbershop happened that's weird, like you found something moved that wasn't supposed to be moved.
Nah, nothing as far as that goes. Anything that has happened, like I said, has always been like in my residence. You know what I'm saying? Or like I said, if any time like even back then, because my mom, she was like big on going to church and praying and all that, or whatever the case was. So I'll rewind a little bit. So I had a situation in New York, and this is actually what brought me down here. So besides cutting hair, I was dibbling, dabbling, whatever in the streets, running around doing my thing. So I was in a shop at the time, and I wound up getting shot. So I'm literally sitting on the bench right by the window, and the dude, I guess he was aiming for my head, but he missed me and hit me in my hand. So
Oh
as he hit
shit.
me in my hand, I got up. He kept shooting at like I'm staring at him. So my initial reaction was to grab for my gun, but at the time I didn't have it on me because they had just robbed the apartment I was in. So they took all my guns, all my money, everything. So as I'm doing that, he's still shooting. So it hit me everywhere but where he wanted to hit me. And I think, you know, that was, you know, all the prayers and stuff that my mom used to give me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I said, regardless of the situation I'm in, I'm protected. Like whatever happens, whether I get on a flight or whatever, I go to the hospital, get sick, have surgery or whatever, I know I'm good because there's something out there, whether it's her or whatever it is, like they surrounded me and they protected me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that is. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's this, that, because I'm not religious at all.
Right.
But whatever it is something's protecting me.
Damn, man. What about
So
like friends, families, acquaintances? Have you heard any crazy stories from like maybe your sister or your
nah, because a lot of people are scared to talk like how we talking now because they don't
right?
want to look like, oh, that person crazy or whatever the case is. They just me, I don't give a fuck. If I experience something, I'm gonna tell you. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
how I am. But a lot of people can't do that. So whether they have experienced that or not, I'm not sure.
All right. So you and I have crazy conversations
Right.
constantly. So what are some of the rabbit holes that you like to go down? Like, is it like do you ufology, the crypto monsters? Like, what are some of your favorite stories that you learned about recently or that you've looked up?
Man, as far as the crypto thing, I that's a whole nother that's just crazy. Cause I even prior to the pandemic, like mostly everybody I knew was a crypto trader. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I trade crypto. I quit my job. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I'm like, okay. So then, you know, I got involved a little bit. I ain't throw a fortune at it, but I got involved just a little bit to play with it. And then look what's happening. So my theory is on that whole thing, for one, I think is a scam. And right now, I think what the government is doing is I think they're just trying to figure out a way, which they probably have. They're just trying to introduce it to the public. But I think they're trying to figure out a way to make sure that they monitor everything we do with our money, the way we spend it, the way we get it, and they want us to pay taxes on it. You know what I'm saying? So until they ready to put it out, which you know is coming with the COVID passport, and you can't go to the store, and you see Amazon opening stores where you got to scan your barcode or your phone, and you could get whatever you want and walk out the store, and they'll just charge you through your app or whatever the case is. So those stores are popping up. So I just think that you know, the crypto game is bullshit. That was just to get people to, you know, feel like they were getting involved with something so that this way when they do come out with whatever currency or whatever they coming out with, that people will be like, oh, that's just like Bitcoin, that's just like Forex, that's just like, you know, Dogecoin or whatever. And it's gonna screw a lot of people over because the hustlers are gonna be assed out because you know they don't pay taxes on any money, they from the streets.
Right.
So yeah, it's just gonna be crazy.
Right. People that I know that are in crypto, as far as I know,
Right.
have not made a lot of money. They made money, but not a lot of money. But there's like always conversations of like old people that made a lot of money on it.
Yeah, but those are conversations. But how many
Right.
people do you know?
Exactly. So
Same here. It's like, where are these
and what
people that made all this money?
and what gets me is like I remember when Bitcoin first came out, you know, and I know nothing about like that sort of shit. So I wasn't even gonna get involved. I didn't have money at that time to even get involved. But I didn't realize that years later that Bitcoin was started by this so-called Japanese guy that nobody knows who he is.
Right.
They don't know who he is. He may
But
not even be Japanese. He just uses a Japanese name.
well, the guy that's going back and forth in Congress, that's I guess he's going through some type of lawsuit or whatever. He's not even Japanese. He said he created the name because he didn't want nobody to know who he was, and he's supposed to be the main shareholder of all these bitcoins, like the main guy. But my thing is, how can you allow somebody to create a fake entity and then put it on the biggest trading platform in the world, which is Wall Street? You know, like it don't make any sense, and nobody's questioning that. They just like, oh well, yeah, maybe that's him, maybe it's not, whatever. But he's supposed to have all his credentials or whatever. But how can you allow somebody with a fictitious name? Because you gotta put some type of your ID, your social security number, because you got to do that shit to trade on Robinhood. So how
Right.
can you get the Wall Street with a fake name? You know what I mean? Like, come on. So
Right.
it's more to it than what they telling us. But you know, that's why I don't get involved with that. But it's
Yeah,
coming.
I had crypto for a little bit, and I remember, okay, so I'm at my boy's house because he's good with electronics, so he's like fixing my computer. And I don't know if he did this on purpose, or if he listens to this, man, don't get mad at me, but it just seemed like you did this shit on purpose. But he had a big ass screen, you know, in his garage where he did all his work, and on there he had like some shit that said what did I call it? Dodge. I said Dodge, but he's like, no, it's Doge.
Yeah,
I was like, what's
Dogecoin.
Doge? So he started explaining to me that it's this coin, you know, they call it a shit coin because Bitcoin's the main coin, and anything that comes after that,
Right,
even Ethereum, all that, they're all called shit coins because they're not
right,
the originator. So he was telling me that it's this new it's a meme coin where they made it, and it went from, you know, less than a penny to now it's like blah 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 cents. And he's like, a lot of people put thousands of dollars in it and they made millions. And so this was like I want to say 2020, man. This was like during the whole pandemic shit.
right,
Uh Supposedly Elon Musk, who's a guy I don't trust, people trusted this dude. I don't trust him.
right,
But supposedly he was supporting Dogecoin, like talking about it a lot. And he was supposed to go on Saturday Night Live, like I think a couple of weekends after I was at my boy's house. And he said, and my boy was telling me, okay, he's gonna go on Saturday Night Live and he's gonna talk up Dogecoin, which is gonna blow it up and blah blah blah. So I fell into that shit and I signed up to Coinbase and Robinhood, got Doge, blah blah blah, and that shit tanked after he was on Saturday Night Live.
right.
That shit tanked. You know, people pulled their money out like right as he was on Saturday Night Live. People were pulling their money out because
Right.
it went up,
Yeah, and
and
then it
and
dropped.
they pulled all that shit out soon as to make their money because they
Yeah,
know that how to use that shit. They know what
right,
they're doing. Where someone like me, you know, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just trying to ride the wagon. You know what I mean?
right,
So anyway, so I kept Dogecoin maybe and a couple of others for maybe like 4 or 5 months after. I pulled all my money out and I made maybe $40 out of it, which was nothing. But
right,
ever since then, dude, like you have the FTX thing with this Sam Freed Bankman or whatever the fuck his name is, that
right,
scam that cost so much money. You have that whole was it GameStop
right.
stock market fucking scam, which I don't know how people didn't get arrested for that. And now you have, you know, that dude Logan Paul.
Yeah, the box. Yeah,
Did you hear the scam that he did?
yeah. We were talking about it.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So
fucking crazy.
same
Yeah.
shit, bro. And I think more of that shit is coming down the pike, man.
Well, it is. That's what I'm saying. So, my theory is that whoever's controlling it, we'll just say the government. My theory is that this is their way of getting people enticed about, you know, this new digital currency that's supposed to come and all this other stuff. But without people realizing, it's going to be another form of control because they're going to tell you when you can spend, what you can buy, what's this, what's that, or whatever. And we're going to get to a place in time to where it's just like the movies. It's going to be you either rich or you poor. And it's not going to be no more middle class because as you can see, a lot of small businesses are starting to shut down and have been starting to shut down because the thing with small businesses, we have a voice. We tell the government like, nah, we not, we need this, we need that, or whatever the case is. Like they don't want to hear us no more. You know what I'm saying? They want to be able to like, nah, fuck that. You're gonna do this and that's it. But we don't allow that to happen. But a lot of businesses are starting to shut down. And I give you an example because we always out in Utah and stuff. So when we first started going, there was a plaza, almost like a water for lakes or whatever. So we would go there, buy, whatever we need for vacation, food, or whatever the case is. So after the pandemic, when we went back, that entire plaza is empty. The only thing in that plaza that's open, and we talking about a good, I want to say probably about 40 stores. Let's just rough estimate 40 stores. The only thing that's open in that plaza is a Walgreens and a Dollar Tree. All the other small mom and pop cafes, ski rentals, sandwich shop, everything is that plaza is deserted. And it's scary because it's like, damn, when we came here 2 years ago and last year, like this was, was booming. There's nothing there now. And it's crazy. So as you, go to different places, you'll start to see like a lot of small businesses are shutting down. You know what I'm saying? On top of that, this whole thing with the whole workers and everything, like you can't find people that want to work. And I'm like, where the hell, how are people paying bills? But then you starting to see more and more homelessness coming out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and even young people, homeless, more women are becoming homeless. And it's just getting scarier and scarier. But going back to the crypto thing, I mean, that was their, I think this is their tool to try to get people to be like, okay, I'm gonna just do this, I'm gonna put all my money in here and not realizing that you're just giving away your freedoms. You know what I mean? So
where do you see the world in 10 years from now?
Jesus.
Like honestly, bro, because I mean you see the patterns, man,
Um I see it getting worse, honestly. I mean, because look at the generation that's under us and that's under them. You see how they acting, and then I don't know if you want to go down this rabbit hole, but you see what they're trying to do to our kids in the school system. You see
we
what
can
all
do
the
it.
we
Yep.
see all the pronouns and all the pedophilia and everything that's going on that they trying to promote, and is just scary. Like everybody I talk to, and I got gay clients or whatever the case is, like nobody cares if you gay. Like we don't give a fuck. Do your thing, whatever you. As long as you, like, as far as I go, as long as you're a good person or whatever, I'll talk to you. I'll cut your hair or whatever. We'll have a conversation. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? And it's to the point where even my clients that are gay and part of that community, they're getting offended. It's like this shit is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like I just want
they're
to.
against it too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I just want to live my life. Like I don't care about all this extra shit. And everybody feels the same way. But the problem is when you try to talk about it or you try to, address it, everybody has this thing where, oh, I'm offended. So now I'm gonna leave you a bad review on Google or Yelp, or I'm gonna try to cancel you and all this bullshit. And what I don't like is they attacking, the kids. And the shit is crazy. And I don't know if you heard about this, but they trying to say that the word pedophile is offensive. So they trying to abbreviate the shit and they call it MAPS, which is minor attracted persons. So that's the new thing that's coming out. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's like they trying to do all this stuff, get all these rights and everything just so they can exploit these kids. And it's crazy because you got parents that are on board with the shit. Because I've seen videos that's been circulating on IG and YouTube or whatever where you got parents bringing adolescent kids 7 8 years old to drag shows and you could clearly see that these kids are uncomfortable. But the parents are like trying to get them to entertain the shit and they don't want to be there. It's like, why are you exploiting your kid like that? Like the shit is crazy, but it's just going to get worse. So in 10 years from now, we're fucked. I mean, Because they, bro, and I tell my wife this jokingly all the time. Like I'm like they don't make them like us no more. You know what I'm saying? And most of the time, I'm like they don't make them like me no more because it's me and her having a conversation or whatever it is. And I'm like, and I tell my daughters the same thing. I'm like, is bad. Like you got men that are literally like they just on some other shit. You know what I'm saying? Now they're not even men no more.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm just glad that I grew up where I grew up and at the time that I grew up. Because I think if I would be part of this generation, I think, I mean, I don't know, I might be, following suit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just glad, I came up when I did because honestly, in 10 years, this is gonna be worse. So that's why I'm prepping. You know what I'm saying? Because I can
Right.
see it coming. So I'm just prepping for whatever happens. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? So my wife already know we on the same page. So when shit hit the fan, we gone.
Right. I got you, man.
Um,
All right,
but
so
yeah,
let's switch
yeah, go
gears here,
ahead.
bro. Let's end on a happy note. Let's try to end on a happy note. All right.
Let's do
All
it.
right, brother. All right. So what sparked your adventurous spirit? Because you've been traveling a lot.
Right.
So what sparked that whole thing?
What sparked it was honestly, I grew up in a big city. I dealt with that. Coming down here, I dealt with the suburban life, and now it's getting to the point where the big city and the suburban areas are meeting up. You know what I mean? So now it's not even suburbia no more. It's pretty much the big city because you got everybody from New York, California, Puerto Rico, whatever. They all come into Florida now. You know what I mean? And they taken away that quiet peacefulness that, I used to enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Now I feel like I'm living in New York again. So once I started going out west and I started visiting these small towns and just seeing the way people live, how they easy going, they ain't in a rush to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Whatever don't get done today, they'll just do it tomorrow. We were in a small town in Montana. I forgot the name of the town, but they had two traffic lights and there was several gas stations in that area and some of them were closed for the wintertime. And I'm like, how do these people make money? Like, that's what I'm thinking. So, we went to a few gift shops and, stuff like that. And just talking to the people and just seeing how nice they were. Cause you wouldn't expect that in Montana. You see a couple of minorities come in the store. They're like, oh shit, they stealing. You know what I mean? That's how it's portrayed on TV.
Right.
But once you get to talking to the people, whatever, everybody is nice and easygoing. And I'm like, damn, I'm like, what do y'all do over here for fun? They're like, oh, well, we'll just go hiking or we'll go fishing, we'll go hunting, stuff like that. So I'm like, you know what? That just triggered me. And I was like, this is what I want the rest of my life to be like. Like, I don't want to deal with, I gotta drive here, I gotta get up and do this. I don't want to always have to go to the store. Like, I want to be self-sufficient. I want to be able to hunt my food, especially with the bullshit they putting in our food now. I want to be able to harvest my own stuff. I want to be able to just chill and relax. Like I don't need the big name stuff no more. You know what I'm saying? I done been there, done that. So it's like I just want to be able to just enjoy my life, have fun, be relaxed and at peace. I don't want the drama. I don't want the city life. I don't want to hear horns and jackhammers and just the loud music and just I don't want to deal with the bullshit and I don't want to deal with this new generation. And that's just in a nutshell. Like I don't want to do it no more. So that's why we always going out west because we just trying to scope out what's what, where will we
Right.
settle and all this other stuff. Because a lot of people and a lot and I hear this a lot from a lot of people that I always tell I go to Utah. They're like, really, Utah? I'm like, ain't it racist out there? Ain't there Mormons or what? I'm like, there is, but the Mormons, you don't see them. They have their own society or whatever. They're not bothering you. You know what I'm saying? But what I have experienced is when you go to these small towns, those people, if you can't adapt to their way of living, they don't want you coming in trying to change their way of living. You know what I mean? Like the way they are is the way they are. Don't come in here trying to, ruin our shit or get us to live like you lived in New York or in Florida. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool with me because that's the lifestyle that I want. I want to be calm, quiet. I want to be able to, just relax and not have to deal with the bullshit. But a lot of people don't understand that. They like, oh, it's racist, it's this. I'm like, I haven't experienced that. Me and my wife, my kids, we haven't experienced none of that the whole time, whether we go to Montana, Utah, Colorado, wherever we go. You know what I'm saying? Everything is cool because we just adapt to what's, there. So that's what sparked us. So then we started um like when we go hiking, the reason why we do it, honestly, besides the scenery, is just the peacefulness. Like there's your cell phone don't work. You can't get no email, text message. You can't get nothing out there. You know what I'm saying? It's just you and nature. And just the sounds of that, you might hear a deer or a elk, doing their chant. You know what I'm saying? You might hear a wolf call that's whatever miles away. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit sounds amazing. Because all we used to is car horns, music, exhaust. You know what I mean? Like out
Yeah.
there is just totally different. And that's why we do it, because that's where we want to be.
So the
So
sounds of nature beat the sounds of the city.
1,000%. And it's just like I said, when you out there, honestly, and I always tell people this: whenever you experience the mountains or you go that far away and you in that area, it's almost like a spiritual cleanse. I don't know why, but when you go there, you'll just feel an overwhelming sense of peace while you out there. And ever since we've been doing it, that's why we keep wanting to go back, because we come back here, it's like, fuck, we gotta go to work. We gotta do it. You know what I mean? So, but
Right.
when you out there, like the people, even though they work in here and there, like they'll shut a store down at 3, 4 o'clock and be like, oh, you got to come back tomorrow. We'll open tomorrow at this time. You know what I mean? Like the way they live is like there's no rush, but they live in a good, happy life. You know what I'm saying? But we out here, we trying to, make all the money so we could buy a Benz or fucking loot, all the name brand shit that we don't even need. And these people out there, they win, regular shit, and they happy.
Right.
They fishing, they got the best food, they got the best veg, they got everything. So that's why we do it, man. We just want to be out there.
What are the best spots that you've been to?
Oh man. I mean,
Like if you could move somewhere right now, where would you go?
Utah immediately. Utah, Montana, my two favorite spots.
What specifically where? Do you like the towns and everything?
I like Springdale. Springdale, Utah is beautiful. Salt Lake City is good, even though it has the word city. There are outskirts, to
Right.
get away from that. Because we normally stay in like there's a spot called Cottonwood Heights, which is gorgeous out there. So we usually stay out there. I can't remember the town we went to in Montana. It was a small town with the two traffic lights, but even that was amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like you had people riding around town on snowmobiles. Like when are you gonna see that? It's crazy. So they would go to the store, buy groceries on snowmobiles. Um, yeah, so Utah, Montana. Actually, we're going to Montana in May. So we going to it's called Kalispell. Montana is up there by Glacier National Park. So we going out there to explore that. But like Billings, Bozeman, Butte, like all that shit is all nice, man. And then just the scene, just to get up and look out your window or go wherever and see the mountain ranges and the wildlife, like it's breathtaking.
Are there any spots that you're interested in going to that you haven't gone to that you have
Yeah,
planned
I
maybe to go
definitely
to?
want to go to Alaska. I definitely want to do that. I mean, I'm always on YouTube looking at the spots out there, but that's not doing enough for me because I want to be there. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I always watch, there's a show that's called Life Below Zero. I always check that out because those people, they living off the land. You know what I'm saying? They live in like little cabins and everything, and they hunt, they do all they, harvest everything. They pretty much live a sustainable life. So, and that's pretty much what I would rather do than have to get up and I got to go to the store. I got to deal with the crowds. I got to do this, do that. And I'm eating all this bullshit. Like, I'd rather just, hunt my food because I know what I'm getting is natural. I'd rather grow my fruits and vegetables, or I'd rather go fishing versus I got to run to the store. Now I got to come out of pocket. I got to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a
Right.
different way of living. And that's the type of lifestyle that I'm leaning towards because I'm just tired of the whole, what they call it, the rat race. You know what I mean? So I'm at the point now where, to me, like, I don't care about the money no more. I don't care about the partying. I don't care about the cars. I don't care about none of that. My goal from this point on is just to be happy, and I just want to be at peace. That's it. So yeah, that's the lifestyle I want because I see it and I know it's doable because I see it every time I go out west. But then we got to come back here. So
With the everyday grind.
yeah, everyday grind. But and I was just talking to one of my clients earlier this week, and he was like, "How do you go from growing up in the projects, the fast life, the city, coming to Florida, doing all this stuff, to going hiking and being in the mountains?" Like, they don't understand it. They're like, "I've never seen, a Hispanic guy, go through these changes or whatever." And I was like, I'm different. There's no other way to put it. Like, that's just me. That's what I want to do. But I always tell people, like, just try one time. Worst thing is you don't like it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I fell in love with it. My wife fell in love with it. So that's why we always out there.
So I told you this before,
Yeah.
but I really want you to consider this, bro. You should do like an adventure channel.
I mean, that's what the YouTube is for. I mean,
Right.
I'm trying to get the software and everything because the stuff I download is just too complex, for me to grasp and use. But I'm trying. But I definitely, every time I go somewhere, it's going to be documented. I mean, 100%. As you can see now, every time I go, I make videos or whatever. And I try to make them not too long so that people don't get bored. So
Right.
I try to give you, the most exciting parts of it in a short period of time. So you be like, damn, I want more. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's what I've been trying to do. Yeah, so that's what I'm it's in the works. Yeah,
Well,
it's in
let
the
me know
works.
when you do it, when you finally make it official.
Right.
I can see it coming, but other than that, bro, thank you for being an awesome dude, or awesome friend to me.
Yeah.
I'll
Thank
I'll put
you.
the links and everything up on the channel, and then I'll send you a
Right.
link, and you can do whatever you want. I need a picture from you that
Right.
I can use as a thumbnail, just whatever you're
Okay.
comfortable with, and then yeah, man, I'll see you not next week, but the week after, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as far as the pictures, the you want something other than the screenshot we got now, or
Yeah, I need like an official picture. That way I could put it as a thumbnail.
got you.
So it could be
Yeah, that
like you up,
works.
you and all your snow gear, whatever you
Oh
want,
yeah, I
man.
got that. I'll text that to you. Yeah, as soon as we get done, for
All right,
sure.
brother. All right, man.
Yeah,
So stay safe, man. I'll see you in 2 weeks, man.
absolutely.
All right,
Thank you
brother.
for having me,
Yeah,
man.
thank you for doing this, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate you.
absolutely. Anytime.
All right, brother. Peace out.
Yep. Thank you.